There's 25 skills that you need to make an informed decision of what you're going to do after 12th grade. There's a lot of experience and knowledge that students need to make an informed decision about what they're going to do after 12th grade. We, as a society, and or as an education system, and at our home, we're not providing them with the wealth of knowledge and skills to even make a decision, because we weren't taught decision-making models. Schools don't cover really practical, essential skills that are needed, like making your career choice.
Welcome back to Finding Common Ground with Heather and Steve. Steve, why don't you tell the audience a little about our guest today?
Yes, today we have Phil Vetrano, and I met him through a mutual friend, Elaine, and she brought me into a separate bunch of advocates who are doing great work, and I was enthralled and inspired by what they were doing, and I stayed in the group because they get stuff done, and Phil will tell you he knows that I try to get stuff done, and you already know that, Heather. So, Phil, you want to start? You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Phil Vetrano, and I'm an independent college and career coach. And thank you very much, Heather and Steve, for having me, and Scott for coordinating it. And we started my co-founder and myself, Lauren Lynn Mears, we started a nonprofit organization called Helpopedia when it was right after COVID. Or during COVID, that we started this initiative where we identified some big gaps in the world of supporting youth development. And there's a lot of things that they're not taught from a skills perspective at home or at school. And so we wanted to address those challenges and issues that our youth have. And I know if you ask a lot of parents and adults, and you ask them, were you properly prepared for life, college, and careers? And most of them will say, no, we were not prepared and ready for this. So this is what our mission is to help parents and caregivers as well as and teachers and administrators to help support the gaps and really help our youth thrive academically and socially through all folks, no matter whatever their status is, from a well-being side and or a wealthy side or underserved side. We treat everyone the same as it relates to providing them support. And I'll just share what one kind of mindset that we have is that it's okay to ask for help. And that's something that we don't really share with our kids a lot. And we're role models, and we're not always asking for help either. And so that's a deficiency in our society, is that we think independence is something admirable to try to figure this out. But when you have experienced people who've gone down these journeys before, and I tell the students, you want to be a CEO of your career. And what CEOs do is they hire experts to accomplish jobs because they can't do it all. They don't know it all. So if you treat yourself like a CEO, you could do the same model, especially when most adults have low expectations of our youth. So you could ask them anything about their careers, and they'll tell you about their careers because that's something interesting to them. And you will not do all the talking. The adults will, just like me, I'm doing all the talking about Helpopedia and about saving our youth and helping parents.
Oh, I could see why you wanted me to be on this one, Steve. I have 4 teenagers in my house, and I feel this deeply because as a school psychologist, I thought I was setting them up right. They had IEPs, 504s. It seemed like we were doing all the right things, and then when that school bus stops going, whoa! It is like it's really challenging because you see the gaps. So, thank you for the work you're doing.
You're welcome, Heather.
Phil, do you before we get into one of the groups that I got involved with you in but we'll talk about later. I know you said you coach, tying it into the autism and special. What brought you into the IDD community and working with the disabled part of all of this?
Great question. So, Laurelyn and I have a mutual colleague, a person who networks a lot. Her name is Brilly, and Brilly introduced us together. And so, as part of the thankfulness, and I recognize, it's not easy being a parent. And then, if you're a parent of a special needs or a learning disability or autism, you're really challenged because I recognize most parents are not prepared for this. They didn't sign up to it. They didn't know about it. So they have these challenges that I'm a problem solver. And so I love helping and supporting people in any way to identify potential solutions and planning ahead. And so it was a natural fit to see that if if most parents need help in this in parenting, oh my goodness, we really need to help and support those folks who have the challenges of when their kids need any sort of help or support and they know about it. And as opposed to counting on the parents are not necessarily investing more in their kids when they don't have disabilities. But the parents on the other side, they will spend time. They will spend a lot of effort and energy. And yes, it's not necessarily the ideal way of getting what you need, but at least they're out there doing as much as they can. But on the other side, the parents who don't have special needs kids, they may be focusing on other things besides their kids. And so because I see that demographic and I'd rather help people who want to be helped. And so there's not a lot of parents who generally want help with their kids. But parents with special needs kids, they are looking for help. They're asking for help. And I'm happy to share the knowledge and wisdom that I have and connect them with people like Steve to present them opportunities and solutions for them that makes life easier. So this is how I got into the special needs. But before that, I was not at all at any spectrum in my life, any phase of my life. I was not presented any opportunities to help and service others who had that who were in this situation.
Wow. When you think about that, my goodness, like we are not exposing people to that opportunity. So I'm glad it found you. I think exactly what you said. A lot of people just walk through life and the paths never cross in this way and they don't even see the need or see how they could help.
Yeah, they haven't lived our life, Phil. Heather and I have the stories. We live this every day. And you're exactly right. The parents that we're always searching for answers, we're always searching for help. And it doesn't matter if the kid's 5 years old or 20. So we consistently learning and things like that. Kudos to you for getting involved in this field because it's so difficult to get people on the outside to look inside the glass and see what's going on in our lives because it is different. Sometimes we wish it wasn't, but it is. And we're looking for support. We're looking for answers and more. And I would say that we're looking for the possibility of being part of their world too, and them being part of our world with our kids. And great for you for finding that later on and coming into this. It's so needed. What kind of services do you offer in the schools, specifically the kids with disabilities? Or, that part I'm still unsure of.
Yeah, so it's all of the above because I provide preparation for college, preparation for career. So anyone who's interested, it doesn't matter what their skill set. If they're interested in college, I can provide them with valuable information. I do that with classes at high schools to let them know because there's a gap associated with students. There's 25 skills that you need to make an informed decision of what you're going to do after 12th grade. There's a lot of experience and knowledge that students need to make an informed decision about what they're going to do after 12th grade. we as a society and or as an education system and at our home, we're not providing them with the wealth of knowledge and skills to even make a decision. So there's all these decision making in the world of corporate America. There's decision making models. We're not teaching our kids decision making models. This is because we weren't taught decision making models. Schools don't cover really practical, essential skills that are needed, like making your career choice. There's an expression, not an expression, there's a quote by Mark Twain. He said, there's two best days of your life: the day you're born and the day you figure out your purpose. All we need is parents. All we need is teachers to share that each individual, as they're young, should have a goal of defining their purpose, determining what their talents are, what their skills are, what they would like to do, and provide them if they don't know those answers. We're providing them with the experience, the connections, the knowledge of understanding what careers are like, what the industries are like, what the fields are like, because they're going to spend 1/3 of their life generally in a career. And so wouldn't it be wise for us to, as a society, help each other and help our kids with this activity? Because one parent, two parent cannot do it alone. They don't have 10,000 careers under their belt. But those parents probably know somebody. And those people know somebody. And then it's the whole networking thing. And we have done a poor job of not sharing this wonderful skill set to our youth to help them understand the power of networking, because it can make a difference in your life. So I'm an analyst, and I like to squash concepts that have been around for a long time, but I can't squash. It's who you know. No matter all the angles that I look at, it's always who you know, because you're going to be working for somebody. And if students aren't interacting with adults, they're doing themselves a disservice, because they're going to be interviewing with adults, not their friends, not their classmates. So this is the whole adage of don't talk to strangers is horrible career advice. And we need to turn that element to not go talk to as many strangers as you can. No, go talk to as many professionals as you can. So as they're becoming 8th grade to 9th grade, and then normalizing it for the kids, introduce them to adults so it's not something of a surprise when they're in 12th grade or college that you're, hey, I got somebody. I don't care who you have, dad or mom. You've never done this before for me. I'm not going to start now. So it's really, it's a wonderful habit. If you're introducing your kids to professionals, and then it's okay to listen and hear about the experience of folks in the careers that they've had to help the student with their goal of exploring careers, because there's no class for this. This is a goal that has to be independent for the individual, and it's because parents haven't done this before. It's nothing that's normalized. It's nothing that society will give a hug to for any help and support. But if there's one thing we can get behind in this world, it's our kids. And so there's that element of uniting families and parents and communities to support our kids. And there's a lot of organizations that are supporting kids. And what's fascinating is not when I visit these organizations, there's not a lot of kids there, which is ironic, but it's true.
I've never thought of that. The way you just said that. That's funny.
Phil, you're right. You know, it's even more complicated is like my daughters are, they think dad's a money tree still, even when they're adults. But my son has got disabilities, and the transition uh, was so difficult. And Heather's going through it now with her daughter. And I look at it, the foster kids that have come through our home that have aged out, there's not set up for careers. There's no transition. There's nobody teaching them. There's nobody educating them into the things that they could do and be successful in. And I know there's programs out there. Personally, what I've seen, it's not effective. It's not working.
No. And I think the autism brain, you think that you have to come up with this like definite thing. So I was trying to explain to my son, you can know what you love and you know what you want to focus on. But like I thought I was supposed to be a school psychologist. That's what my dad was. Like, so that's what I did. I'm going to be able to help people like my sister. Like I just thought that was the path to do it. Then I got in schools and I started helping people. And I thought, I hate giving IQ tests. Why did I think that I wanted to give IQ tests the rest of my life? Like it was this moment like, I do want to help people, but not like this. I don't want to put a label on them. I don't want to attach a number to them. It like totally went against what I thought I was supposed to do. And I went all the way almost up to my doctorate with this degree before I realized this is not me. And then I shifted to healthcare. That was not me either, but I learned a lot of things. So what I'm trying to tell my kids is you take these twists and turns and don't think you have to live in the same house your whole life or have the same job your whole life. Network, talk to the people around you. I found my healthcare job talking to somebody in education who knew somebody else. Do you know what I mean? And then I shifted again to nonprofit because it's who you know. You're so right. And we're not teaching them to network that way and ask questions because I think that seems like a cool job. What do you do? Like, how did you get there? And then you make that bridge. So that's something we don't teach. You're right. And if you have autism, you might not know it intuitively. It might not just come naturally.
Yeah, so there's definitely a methodology that I use to open up the eyes of students to explore what's interesting to them. So I have these 38 categories of like including health professions, and they'll tell me. So this is reverse of what those career tests do, and they're not always successful, or most of them are not. But I want to know, what do they want to learn based on these categories that I'm sharing them, and what's going to intrigue them, because the goal is we want them to be a subject matter expert in something so that they can be, if they're going to read these 25 chapter books on this topic, they might as well be intrigued and interested. And so this is the process that regardless of talent or skill, if they have the desire and motivation to learn about a particular subject, they could become an expert in it as long as they enjoy the reading process, the YouTube process, whatever it is that they are connecting information for that particular subject. This is an important activity that is not performed all the time. So for your children, you can go through this process to see what it is that they're interested in what they're going to read, what they're going to study, what they're going to YouTube, whatever the case may be. But does it excite them? Does it interest them? Now, they could like the subject, but they actually don't like doing it. However,
True.
yes, no, so there was this, there's this story I know that this girl went through physical therapy, 7 years of schooling. She was a patient in 11th grade. She loved physical therapy, going to physical therapy. And voila, she went through the process. Then now she was on the other side. She didn't enjoy it. She didn't like it. And the question is, well, how can we learn from that story? It is actually, the more you're practicing it, the more you're doing it, the more you're going to know, is this for me? Just like Heather, unfortunately, took so long to figure this out, that this wasn't for her. But she may not, Heather, you probably didn't have the goal, is to find out the good, the bad, and the ugly of your profession, to get all the information to help you, because you could have still continued that quest if you found the right person to share the talents and skills that they have and the career path that they have and that they love, and you happen to love it. Now, of course, if you meet 15 people and they all love what they're doing, but you don't like what they're doing, that's okay. That's totally okay. But you've done your diligence to know and understand what you're getting into and if this is for you or not. So there's two sides of that story. What do you like to learn? And what do you like to learn and do?
Phil, I can relate to that. We have a 17-year-old foster kid in our house who's profoundly autistic. Textbook. If it was still encyclopedias, his picture would be right there because everything that's in there he does to perfection. And he was struggling in school. He was at BOCES. We had to take him out of there. They would say he was behavioral. We've got him in a different kind of a school now. It's called Trade Winds, and it's more dedicated to certain subjects and certain things and life skills and things like that. But they were teaching him things he didn't have any interest in, none. So he'd still be behavioral, and they would call me into these meetings, and they'd say, "What are we going to do? He doesn't like to do this, this, and this." And just like you said, you got to give him something he likes, give him something he loves to do, and that's electronics. And now that they've built electronics into his whole day at program, and this kid is an absolute genius. I don't think I've told you the story. Heather knows the story. He'll come home here and change all the kids' TVs in different languages. And then run up the stairs, and the kids are yelling downstairs, "Michael just changed my TV again." And it's in Russian and Spanish, and then and I don't even know how to fix it. I mean, some of this stuff we don't even know how he does it. He's ordered stuff on Amazon. He bypassed my wife's security code, but he's a genius. And that's my point. We found something he loves, and his career path should be something to do with electronics, something to do with what he loves to do. And you give him a laptop, he'll take that thing apart and put it back together and do all kinds of things on there that I can't even, I don't even know how he does it. And he's 17 and he doesn't talk much, but that's a skill set he has. And just like you said, nobody goes down those roads. They would have continued to march him down what everybody else is doing. It's not what he wanted to do.
That's what high school and college is, right? You have to take all these classes you don't care about to get your degree. Like things that are like, I just remember I switched colleges when they kept making me take Spanish. I said, I'm really not good at this. This is not what I'm good at. Why do I have to take 3 years of Spanish? Like I switched universities because of a stupid requirement. Like in my mind, I don't want to waste time on stuff that doesn't light me up, that isn't exciting. And then when you get into the adult world, you get to do what you love to do and you can do it as much as you want. And nobody says, well, you also have to do some Spanish and don't forget about statistics. Like they don't make you do things that you don't need to do and you pick the job that suits you. So it all makes total sense, right? But we don't actually tell our kids this part.
So
Phil,
Heather,
go ahead.
Heather, I wish I met you when you were 17 and making that decision. I can't tell you how many students apply to colleges and will not look, just like you did. You do not look at the degree requirements to know and understand, oh, is this a game changer for me that I've got to take 3 years of Spanish or 3 semesters of Spanish? I'm running the other way. That's not my core competency. That's nothing I'm interested in. And when you're reviewing degrees, you can see the differences between each school. And this is an important element for people at home, is that you can't assume that your child knows what the degree represents and what options they have. And some of these schools, I have the data, some of these schools graduate with 3 students in the major, 5 students in the major. So when you look at that, you'll know there won't be a lot of course options and electives. You'll be in that funnel with the same students, with the same teachers as well. So what you're signing up to is really, from a college decision perspective, it's really important to know what that degree looks like and what you need to accomplish it. And I did not do this myself. Nobody taught me. I was in the same boat as you, Heather. I got a rude awakening. I went to a business school. So you would think I'd be taking business classes the first year. Zippo, none. I'm taking, it's like 13th grade. I'm taking history, I'm taking English, I'm taking science. I'm like, Mamma Mia, what did I do? And then, of course, I saw the light and I continued it. And then I got all the business classes I needed at the business school. But this was a rude awakening. And of course, I don't like when people make mistakes, especially if they've been made before. So there's the value of history. It's just that we're not teaching the history of college, the history of careers, the history of life to teach our kids. Here's the biggest mistakes you could make.
That should be a show.
They probably all focus on the politics of mistakes that we've made.
What do you think of auditing classes? So I have a daughter who spells to communicate. She doesn't have spoken language. And in the mind of the school, she is not capable. So they wanted her to sweep at the college and she wanted to go to college. So I'm trying to just convince them, like, shift their mindset a little bit. And I'm like, let her audit it. Let her expose herself to age level content and let's see how she responds, because how in the world will she know right now what career she wants when she's only been learning her colors and shapes and letters and sounds for 12 years? I feel like she needs even more exposure than we typically would think.
Yeah, you're on the right you're on the right track. Is the question is exposing her to before you sign up to a class. Why? Because when you're signing up to a class, you're saying, I want to take this class for 13 weeks. I want to take this, whatever, even an online course, without the understanding. And so the audit is absolutely helpful, but you could find out what books are required. And you could read those books, you could review those books to see and understand, are these concepts that I understand, these concepts that I like, and this can help. So now if they're unable or they're not interested in learning the textbook, maybe college isn't for them, because that's generally a requirement for most classes, not all, but most classes. But it definitely will help to expose her to the variety of choices, even if she's reading the course outlines. Yes, it's usually 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs. You get some sort of gist, but if she's really interested, you go to the library, you get those books to learn and study and understand them. I have a student, he's in 11th grade, he's interested in neuroscience. No one told him to go pull out a book on neuroscience at all. You think that was obvious. No, it's not obvious for parents and for kids. So he's over 100 pages into it and he's excited. He's interested. He's sharing. And this is the best part. When you're around the dinner table, they could be talking about what they love, which is something that really helps you on the parent side. Oh, this is for my child. Like Steve knows he loves the technical side of electronics. It's just obvious and it's great. And then you support him in all those careers. So Steve, we got to connect him to all the folks in the world of PCs and computers, especially to fix them. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And if he knows antivirus software, he'll have jobs.
We don't even know how he does it. If we have something, we've actually given him things that are broke, and within seconds, he's fixed this thing, and we can't even keep up with watching him how to do it. That's how fast he does it. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's his knowledge up in his head is just, it's remarkable. He must read all the code in there somehow in his brain somehow, because he just knows it. And
he's got a God-gifted talent, and we definitely could leverage that so much. So many folks need that support and service, and companies are looking for them. I think it's wonderful that your son has identified what he really is passionate about.
Yeah.
You didn't
Go
over
ahead.
medicate him or anything. Do you know what I'm just thinking? Like, what do we do when somebody acts out? we punish them, we over medicate them, we assume that they're more delayed than they are. Like you didn't do that. Thank goodness you didn't do that. You're like, look at what lights them up. Let's go with that instead of, because a lot of people would have just kept piling on the medications. They really would have.
Yeah. When he came to us, he was heavily medicated. He literally takes one med right now, and it's just to take the edge off, and it works. I wanted to pivot a little bit, Phil, because the project that brought me to you and your this great group of advocates from Florida and Wisconsin and all over is this director you guys were working on and that you guys brought me into. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that because I was fascinating in it, only because Heather and I always hear from families and parents about where to go. We know the big places to go, the state OPWDD, but we're still not getting our answers. So go ahead.
Yes. So I led up to that like I'm a problem solver, and I enjoy addressing needs that are gaps. And so we had a gentleman, his name is Chris Myers. He came to us with his vision of having a special needs directory. And when I speak to folks in the world of special needs, there is no one-stop shopping on a website to know and understand all the needs that you have, all the solutions that are out there, and all the knowledge that you need and experience that you need to make informed decisions. And so this was a wonderful opportunity to service society, to service parents, to service nonprofit organizations, to service families who need as much help as they can get. And I searched a lot of websites, and ironically, Steve found us one 2 weeks ago. We're in the meeting, and as soon as I saw it, I said, "This can't be. They have something that we're building," but it only scratched the surface. Again, because we've identified over 100 categories associated with servicing special needs folks. And they did not have over 100 categories, but they had 3,000 links for 20 categories all over the state, only the state. And so imagine if this website was multiplied by 50 plus all the other elements that are not covered under this state. That's what we're striving for, is this one-stop directory for any advocate, any parent, any organization who needs answers and needs help. And not only are we going to build this special needs directory, but we'd like to hire folks who care about a concierge service to address the ones we don't have. What are the links that we don't have? So addressing the gaps and have folks who have disabilities to, as long as they have cognitive skills, to help identify what are the potential solutions for this particular category in this particular county, in this particular state, in person and virtual. It makes a difference. What is it the family needs? What is the family looking for? And so we would have folks early on, it's unpaid internships, but as we're able to accumulate donations, we can pay the folks who are providing this concierge service to identify the solutions for families.
That's beautiful. Have you connected with the United Way by any chance? I only asked because years ago they had this like Wayfinder thing they were working on that sounds a lot like what you're talking about, but then I never heard about it again. So I don't even know what happened to the platform. Do you know what I mean? And I know they spent a lot of money on it. They brought a lot of funds together, a lot of people together, and we all sat around this big old table and talked about it. And it just struck me because I thought if that was really working well, I'd be using it, but I haven't heard anything.
I have not come across that. I am so fascinated. I'll be multitasking now to see if United built this, and they called it a Wayfinder?
Wayfinder. Yeah.
Weave or way?
Way. Like you help
Wayfinder.
find your way. Yeah. so that was when I heard about. There's a local mom to me that I'm thinking I need to connect you with her because her daughter has Tourette's, and when she got the diagnosis, she had no idea where to go, who to talk to. So she started the same idea, like I want to have this database that you can talk to people and figure out which ones are good services and which ones aren't. And so not yeah, my mind's spinning. I'm like ready to connect you with all the people. That's what I do. I think, Steve, we're connectors, right? Like we find something and we connect people. I'll be sure, like when we're done with this, Phil, I'm gonna connect you with a couple things. It's good work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Phil,
So,
it's up. Go ahead.
no, I was looking up Wayfinder, and the first thing that popped up was video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that.
Phil, it's obvious. Look, I can tell you right now, I'm highly doubtful that it even exists anymore. What I have seen over the years, I've been doing this a long time, and what I hear from families is there's not a set place to go. We even with some of the when we were been because we spent some time on this in some of the meetings, and we check Phil, and you see some of the stuff. The same thing I do. You go on some of these sites, they're convoluted, they're hard to get into, and then when you get there, there's nothing there, or there's outdated information. People don't keep it up to date. And why I'm so thrilled with the project you guys are working on is because if you can find a way to pull it off, it's going to help a lot of people in the IDD community.
I
Thank you.
think
Thank you. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say half the time, you don't even know what you're looking for. I know that
Right.
sounds like such a crazy thing, but you say like autism and sensory, and then something could pop up that you're like, wow, I had no idea that was even a thing. Like my one daughter gets like motion sickness, vertigo a lot, and she was trying to have a job on an ambulance, and oh my gosh, in the back of the ambulance, that was rough. Like it was not the right. She loved the job, hated the transportation, and so we learned about vestibular therapy, something like we had never heard about. Somebody happened to mention it, but I bet in a database like that, you could enter a few keywords and that would have popped up and that would be so cool. So definitely cool.
Excellent. That's a great example of what you don't know. And then is our directory able to help and guide folks to say, oh, here's the topics associated with autism. Are you interested in learning these things? Here's the companies that service it. Here's the nonprofit organizations who provide some level of service and offering to help, educate the family too.
That's
Very
great.
good.
I think we're
I
just about done. Phil, is there anything else you wanted to add to the show? Plans forward?
So we're definitely working on the special needs directory. We're working on a variety of. Okay, this is something that I'd like to share. So we have internships for any student. Let me say that again. Internship for any student. As long as they can communicate and be cognitive skills, we will be happy to provide them an internship because no organization is offering students internships in every field, in every industry. But if you were to pick my brain, every organization could be doing this, but they don't. Let me say that again. Every organization could be doing this for our youth, for our society, but they don't. They have a mission, and they're going to continue with their mission and focus, and they're not going to focus on our youth. That is not their focus. We've got to find organizations that are focused on youth, like myself. Who's going to be offering an internship to your kid? Automatically, guaranteed. The challenge that I'm having, the kids are not generally motivated on unpaid internships. And it's sad because that helps them get ready. The parents know. The question is, as a parent, and this is hard to hear, have you done a good job in raising your child to be exposed to opportunities? And if you're giving them the choice and they don't want anything to do with helping them prepare for their career, you've got to ask yourself, what did I do? I'm giving this person opportunity. They want to be a singer. They want to be a neuroscience. They want to be anything that they want to be. We're providing them with a step to get there. They're going to work on assignments because they said they want to do this. They're interested in this topic. We can arrange assignments for them to do independent work and meet with us to get the skills that they need to help them with those activities. And we could be doing that networking with them to introduce them to people who will actually do it for a living. I'm having a session today, 4:30. It is a pre-host spotlight. I've opened it up to educators and to some students. Any field industry that they want to be connected with, I'm happy to connect them with. 5 o'clock, we have a spotlight. It's a lawyer. All the students who are interested in becoming a lawyer, want to learn more about it, open some doors for them. I've got the lawyer today at 5 p.m. This is what I could do for your kids, is to help them get ready for careers, introduce them to career professionals, to help them normalize this, that it's easy for adults to help them if they ask.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
But
How's that to end on?
I think that's perfect because, somewhere along the way, we've lost the idea of volunteering, giving back. But this isn't even like that typical volunteer experience where you're doing it for the good of someone else. This is quite literally an experience that is building the skills you need. It's mutually beneficial. And that normally when you go to college, you have to pay. So, like the fact that you don't get paid isn't a big deal. You don't even have to pay to do it. I think we just have to shift our mindset a little bit and stop concentrating on the money component because nobody gets paid until they know what they're doing. Like my husband's a mason, he hires people, and when they don't know what they're doing, they get a small wage. When they start to hustle and start to show initiative and pick up skills, they get more and it adds on, and then they're a team leader. And it makes sense to me that you show up the first day and you're not expecting a big paycheck because you're not there yet. You don't know what you don't know. So I think it's a great opportunity. We'll put information in our podcast description so parents can find you. And look you up and see how you can change that path for their child, because we as parents can't do it all. They actually are going to listen to somebody else outside the family circle sometimes more than they listen to us, right? So we can guide them to you, and that's an important thing we can do.
Thank you, Heather.
Phil, thanks for
Yeah.
coming on. We're wrapping up. Again, I can't thank you enough. I'll see you tomorrow, anyways. I'm helping you with that directory, but we're thrilled that you came on and gave a little insight into something a little differently, and a little different than what parents, and like Heather said, if you don't know, you don't know. And I think a lot of times you sparked some things just in me, just this 40 minutes we've been on, about some more ideas for to help. So again, thanks for coming on. And I don't know if anything else, Rachel, my daughter, she's coming on pretty soon.
I know. He's a,
Heather.
I
I
would take that as a compliment, Heather. Rachel
I
must be younger.
absolutely would. Rachel's younger and she's so sweet and smart. So you can call me Rachel any day. No, that's fine. No, I'm so glad you came on, and I hope that we can circle back, and I'll send you some information on the things that I know that I think you can align with. Because so often too, this is my last word, we think we're competing with each other. We think that there's these competitions going on and we can't share things and share ideas. And Steve and I do not feel that way. When there's something good and powerful and people align, I want to connect them. Like it has some synergy, right? So that's my homework, and I'm happy to do it. You don't have to pay me anything.
Yeah, collaboration is really powerful, and teamwork, and even in the schools, even in the world of capitalism, there's so much to that thought process of competing against each other. And even though the don't talk to strangers thing, it's not let's unite together. That should be the message for your kids. That should be the message for everyone. And I love the team effort, the connection, the help, which is networking. It's helping
Right?
each other.
It's the whole basis of the show, right? You might not agree with every single person, but you see where your values overlap, you find that common ground, and that's where your power is. So have a great day, everybody. Until next time.
Continue the conversation by joining our Facebook group. If you're a fan of the show, please join our supporters club. Subscribe on YouTube, rate and review on your favorite listening app, but most of all, share it with your friends. Just one more click or comment can make a huge difference and help us to continue finding common ground.